You focus on sugar, carbohydrates, and insulin. But what if something even simpler is quietly affecting your diabetes control every single day? Today, we're talking about water and diabetes control, and how hydration and blood sugar are more connected than most people realize. If you want to support insulin function naturally, subscribe to Health Insight MD and discover every day how small habits can transform your results.
Most people living with diabetes focus almost entirely on food choices and medication. They count carbohydrates, adjust insulin, and search for type 2 diabetes. Natural treatment options, but they often ignore one of the most basic diabetes. Natural habits, proper hydration. Here's the silent mistake. Even mild dehydration can affect blood sugar levels. When your body doesn't have enough water, glucose becomes more concentrated in the bloodstream. That means hydration and blood sugar are directly connected. Dehydration and high blood sugar often go hand in hand, especially in people already dealing with insulin resistance. From a physiological perspective, the body needs adequate fluid balance to support circulation, kidney function, and metabolic stability. Water plays a key role in blood sugar control naturally, because it helps maintain proper blood volume and supports the removal of excess glucose through urine. If you're trying to support insulin function naturally, or improve insulin sensitivity naturally, ignoring hydration can quietly work against you. In diabetes and insulin function, small factors matter, and hydration is one of those overlooked factors that can influence how efficiently your body manages glucose every single day. Now let's understand, in a simple and practical way, how water and diabetes control are directly connected. Your blood is made up largely of water. That means hydration plays a central role in how substances, including glucose, circulate through your body. When you have adequate hydration, blood volume stays more stable, circulation works efficiently, and glucose can move more smoothly through the bloodstream. But when you are dehydrated, even mildly, the amount of fluid in your bloodstream decreases. Less water means glucose becomes more concentrated. In other words, dehydration and high blood sugar are closely related because there is less fluid available to dilute circulating glucose. This directly affects hydration and blood sugar balance. If you are trying to improve insulin sensitivity naturally, or looking for natural ways to improve insulin function, this matters more than most people realize. Blood sugar control naturally. It's not only about reducing carbohydrates, it is also about maintaining the internal environment that allows insulin to work effectively. When glucose is more concentrated, the body has to work harder to restore balance, which can worsen insulin resistance over time. So in diabetes and insulin function, hydration is not a minor detail. It is a foundational habit. Proper water intake supports circulation, helps regulate fasting glucose levels, and creates a more stable metabolic environment. If your goal is long-term blood sugar management, understanding how water affects insulin function is essential. Now let's talk about something even more strategic: the connection between hydration and insulin function. Insulin does not work in isolation. It depends on a balanced metabolic environment to move glucose from the bloodstream into the cells efficiently. When we discuss diabetes and insulin function, we often focus only on carbohydrates or medication adjustments. But hydration is part of that internal environment. If your body is not properly hydrated, the entire metabolic system operates under more stress. Dehydration increases physiological stress. It can raise levels of stress hormones, like cortisol, and trigger compensatory mechanisms that affect blood volume and circulation. Over time, this imbalance can make insulin resistance worse. That means if you are trying to improve insulin sensitivity naturally, or searching for natural ways to improve insulin function, ignoring hydration may be quietly working against your efforts. Hydration and blood sugar are deeply connected because insulin relies on adequate circulation and stable fluid levels to function effectively. When the body is dehydrated, blood becomes more concentrated. Circulation efficiency may decrease, and cells may respond less effectively to insulin signals. This can interfere with blood sugar control naturally and make glucose levels harder to stabilize. In people with type 2 diabetes, where insulin resistance is already present, small stressors can compound the problem. That is why supporting insulin function naturally involves more than diet alone. It includes daily habits that protect metabolic health. Water and diabetes control are connected through this exact mechanism. Proper hydration supports circulation, kidney function, and glucose regulation, all of which influence how insulin performs. This is where the core message of this channel becomes clear. Small habits impact glycemic control in powerful ways. Drinking enough water may seem simple, but simple does not mean insignificant. If your goal is long-term blood sugar management and better metabolic health improvement, hydration is one of the foundational diabetes natural habits you cannot overlook. Let's talk about something practical. How do you know if dehydration may already be affecting your diabetes control? Many people think dehydration only means feeling thirsty, but in reality, the signs can be subtle, especially for those managing type 2 diabetes. And because hydration and blood sugar are closely connected, these signs can quietly interfere with your efforts to support insulin function naturally. Fatigue is one of the most common signals. If you feel unusually tired even after resting, it may not be just your glucose levels fluctuating. Dehydration reduces blood volume and circulation efficiency, which can make your body work harder and worsen insulin resistance over time. Dry mouth is another early sign. While it can happen with high blood sugar, it is also a classic symptom of inadequate fluid intake. Dehydration and high blood sugar often reinforce each other, creating a cycle that makes blood sugar control naturally more difficult. Dark yellow urine is one of the clearest physical indicators. When properly hydrated, urine should be light in color. Dark urine suggests that your body is conserving fluids, which may signal that hydration is not sufficient. To support optimal metabolic function, headaches can also be linked to dehydration. Reduced fluid balance affects blood flow and oxygen delivery, which may indirectly impact how well your body manages glucose throughout the day. And here is the important part for anyone focused on diabetes and insulin function. If your blood sugar seems harder to stabilize, if fasting glucose levels are more erratic, or if morning blood sugar control feels unpredictable, hydration could be a contributing factor. Water and diabetes control are more connected than most people assume. So it is not just about feeling thirsty. These small signals may indicate that your body is not getting the fluid support it needs for proper metabolic health improvement. Recognizing them early is part of building strong diabetes natural habits that protect long-term blood sugar management. How much water really matters for people with diabetes. This is where many people complicate what should be simple. When we talk about water and diabetes, there is no universal magic formula. It's not about drinking excessive liters at once or following a rigid number that works for everyone. What really matters is daily consistency and a smart strategy. For those seeking to improve glycemic control, adequate hydration acts as metabolic support. The body needs water to maintain the balance of glucose concentration in the blood, support insulin function, and help the kidneys eliminate excess sugar through urine when necessary. But here's the most important point: consistency is more powerful than excess. Drinking a lot of water at once doesn't solve the problem if you spend the rest of the day dehydrated. Ideally, you should distribute your intake throughout the day, keeping the body in a balanced metabolic environment. This balance helps reduce physiological stress that can impact insulin resistance. A general guideline for adults usually revolves around 30 to 35 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight per day. However, factors such as climate, level of physical activity, and medication use can alter this need. Therefore, the focus should be on maintaining constant hydration, observing your body's signals, and monitoring how your blood glucose responds. Now let's connect this to a strategic point. Morning blood sugar control. During the night, you spend several hours without ingesting fluids. This can lead to mild dehydration upon waking, when the volume of fluids in the body is reduced. The concentration of glucose in the blood may appear higher. In other words, hydration directly influences morning blood sugar control. Developing the habit of drinking water as soon as you wake up can help too. Replenish fluids lost during the night. Improve circulation. Support insulin function. Contribute to more stable glycemic control throughout the day. Small habits directly impact glycemic control. Water is one of these simple, accessible, and extremely strategic habits. It's not about exaggeration. It's about daily discipline. It's about creating an internal environment that promotes insulin sensitivity and metabolic balance. When you understand that hydration and diabetes go hand in hand, you begin to realize that something as basic as water can become a powerful tool in your health routine. Does water replace medication? Debunking myths. Here we need to be extremely clear, because credibility in healthcare is serious business. Water does not replace medication for diabetes. It does not replace insulin. It does not replace medical follow-up. Any promise to the contrary is irresponsible. The treatment of diabetes, whether type 2 or type 1, involves medical strategy, blood glucose monitoring, proper nutrition, physical activity, and, when necessary, the use of prescribed medications. This is the foundation. This is safety. Now comes the strategic point. Although water does not replace treatment, it can enhance the metabolic environment where that treatment acts. Adequate hydration helps the body maintain balance in blood glucose concentration. When dehydration occurs, plasma volume decreases, and glucose becomes more concentrated. This can make glycemic control more difficult, and give the feeling that blood glucose is harder to stabilize. Furthermore, hydration supports kidney function in eliminating excess glucose. It reduces physiological stress that impacts insulin resistance. It contributes to a more favorable environment for insulin action. Notice the difference. Water is not a treatment. Water is metabolic support. And consistent metabolic support improves the response to glucose control strategies. Many people look for miraculous solutions to improve blood sugar control. but ignore basic habits that directly influence metabolism. Small habits directly impact glycemic control, and hydration is one of them. In fact, when we talk about morning blood sugar control, staying hydrated can help prevent glucose from becoming artificially more concentrated after the overnight fasting period. It's not a miracle. It's basic physiology. The mistake lies in extremes. Neither ignoring hydration, nor turning it into a promise of cure. Trust is built with balance and responsibility. If you want to strengthen your natural diabetes management, think of water as part of the structural foundation of your routine, along with proper nutrition, physical activity, quality sleep, and professional monitoring. Treatment is the foundation. Hydration is the support that helps this foundation function better. And when you add up small, correct decisions every day, glycemic control stops being a game of luck and becomes a strategic process. You already understand that hydration influences glycemic control, supports insulin function, and can contribute to better morning blood sugar control. But information without application doesn't change results. The question is, how to transform water into a consistent habit within the routine of someone living with diabetes. First, strategy. Start the day with water before breakfast. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, the body naturally wakes up more dehydrated. This can influence blood glucose concentration first thing in the morning. Drinking a glass of water upon waking helps rebalance the metabolic environment and starts the day favoring blood sugar control. Only after that do you think about breakfast. Second strategy, carry a water bottle with you. It seems simple, but it's extremely effective. When water is visible, the brain remembers. When it's not, you forget. People seeking to improve insulin resistance need to reduce friction in their environment. Leaving the bottle on your desk, in the car, or in your bag increases consistency. Third strategy, associate water with fixed times. The brain learns through repetition. You can link water intake to specific times. Upon waking, before meals, after measuring blood glucose, mid-morning, mid-afternoon. This association creates an automatic pattern, and automatic habits are the foundation of any solid natural diabetes management strategy. Fourth strategy, observe urine color. This is one of the simplest and most practical indicators. Very dark urine may indicate mild dehydration, which can already impact glycemic control. The goal is to maintain a light color throughout the day, a sign of adequate hydration. Now let's connect this with nutritional education. Just as you learn to balance carbohydrates, control portions, and prioritize foods that promote insulin sensitivity, hydration should be part of your metabolic education. Water is not a detail. It's fundamental. When we talk about nutritional education for diabetes, it's not just about what you eat. It's about the internal environment you create. A well-hydrated body handles glycemic variations better, suffers less physiological stress, provides better conditions for insulin action, facilitates glucose control throughout the day. Small habits directly impact glycemic control, and consistent habits overcome occasional intensity. It's not about drinking a lot of water one day and forgetting the next. It's about daily repetition. It's about simple discipline. It's about making the basics non-negotiable. If you want to improve your morning blood sugar control, reduce fluctuations, and strengthen your health strategy, start with what's within your reach today. A glass of water now. Hydration is not a trend. It's a metabolic foundation. If you've made it this far, it's because you really want to take glycemic control. Seriously, not just reacting to high glucose, but building a more balanced metabolic environment every day. If this content helped you see hydration, insulin function, and blood sugar control more strategically, consider subscribing to the channel. Here we talk about simple habits that truly impact type 2 diabetes. Without miraculous promises, just smart consistency. And tell me something in the comments. Right, I'm with you until the end. If you stayed until the end, and take the opportunity to answer to: do you really drink enough water throughout the day, or do you realize you could improve your hydration? I want to know where you are in this process. If this video made sense to you, leave a like. This shows that this type of content practical, direct, and focused on natural diabetes management needs to continue. And there's a video here that complements this topic exactly, delving even deeper into how small habits influence morning blood sugar control. Click and continue with me there.